Hello! Welcome to the 8 o'clock live viewing of Diana, the Happy Lawyer. I'm going to be discussing tonight goal attaining. The name of this little snippet is Goals, Attaining the Unattainable. So what I'm interested in doing tonight is having an interactive conversation with anybody that wants to discuss how to attain goals, the different types of goals that there are. Hi Sky, how are you? Welcome. So we're talking about how to set goals, realistic goals, and what steps that we need to do to attain those goals. So the title of this, Attaining the Unattainable. Hi Catherine, good to see you. Cousin Kathy, I should be calling you. So attaining the unattainable, it's kind of like a little bit of a tricky title because what does that really mean, attaining the unattainable? So I'm a big word person. I like to know what words mean. As an attorney for 30 years, I pick and choose words very carefully. And so now I'm going to be making sure that I'm using the right words and that other people are picking the right words, because the words that we use really frame our entire reality and our life and our future, and also our past. Words that you use to describe your past can have a strong effect on how you feel going forward. So I looked up the words in Webster's dictionary. The word goal means the end toward which effort is directed. The end towards which effort is directed. So your goal is what you want to have as your finished product. Now, attaining goals. Attain means to reach as an end. So attaining goals kind of go together. The goal is the end, and attaining it is when you are at that end. You've reached that end. So the question is the unattainable goal. Unattainable in Webster's dictionary is not able to be accomplished or achieved, not attainable, an unattainable goal or an unattainable idea. So unattainable is, by its definition, something that you can't get. So then how do we get to attain the unattainable goal? Well, we're going to have to change the definition of what the unattainable goal is. If you can never obtain an unattainable goal, you have to change your definition of what unattainable is. There are people that have goals. We set goals. And there are different types of goals that we set. Short-term goals, long-term goals. This product of what I'm doing today was something that I thought of today. Somebody put this idea in my head. You should just go live online already. I'm breaking through what Bob Proctor calls a terror barrier, which is something that stops you from proceeding to a goal. You come up with all different ideas. I'm not ready. I don't have the right lighting. I don't have the right microphone. A million things that could get in my way of attaining a goal of going online and doing a live discussion and having people join me and interact. So I could have thought all day long about how to avoid that goal, and I would have been very successful to not do it today. I could have come up with many excuses to do it next week for all of those reasons I just listed. But instead, I just said, the heck with it, I'm doing it. And then when I announced that I was going live at 8 o'clock, I knew that that was something that I was going to follow through with. So it was a goal that was attainable, and I set it for a one-day goal. So this is a one-day goal. I thought of it today, and I'm doing it today. There are a lot of goals that we set in one day, very short-term goals. Getting out of bed on a Sunday. Today's Sunday, so some people want to stay in bed. Some people want to sleep late. That could be a goal, could be sleeping late. So as we go through the whole day, we're always, without realizing it, setting goals and attaining goals, setting goals and attaining goals, making breakfast, cleaning up after breakfast, walking your dog, going to dog training is something that I do on Sunday. And I could easily sit on the couch and say it's too cold and then make that attainable goal become unattainable. So it's when you change your definition of attainable goals into things that become attainable. Now, there are unattainable goals in life, like I can't become the center for the Knicks. I'm too short. I don't know how to play basketball. I'm sure if I really tried hard, I could try out. I could attempt the goal, but I might not be successful. So there are goals that are unattainable. But most of the goals that we have that we think are unattainable are probably something that we can do, but we frequently will set ourselves up for failure or coming up with excuses why we can't do it. So this is what I have been trying to do. I have been setting small goals. I have a big goal. My big goal is to have dog rescue sanctuaries all over the country. Not just in the not just in New York and Florida, but all over the place. So I know that goal is a long-term goal. That's something that's going to be, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years, maybe 6 months. It could be something that happens quickly, but it is a long-term goal. So in order to get to that long-term goal, I have to go through a lot of smaller goals before I get to it. But it's easy to forget about your long-term goal and get distracted by a lot of things. There's a book that I've been reading. It's called The One Thing. The One Thing. And it's a good book. You can hear it. It's online. There's an audio of it. I don't even know the name of the guy that wrote it. Two guys together. It's very, very famous. Jay Papasan and Gary Keller. So what they do is they talk about how to attain goals by just doing the one thing that you need to do next in order to get to your goal. So if I want to have my big goal of rescuing dogs and having dog sanctuaries, I can't go right from here to there. I have to do the one thing that's next that's going to get me to that. So for me, that is figuring out a way to set up property, set up people, get the rules and regulations. And in a bigger goal like that, you're always going to need people. Sometimes we call them mastermind groups, a mastermind where you speak with other people and say, what are your ideas? Kind of like what I'm doing now. If anybody has any suggestions or wants to jump in with ideas of how they attack larger goals as opposed to smaller goals. So is my goal of having dog sanctuaries all over the country unattainable? No, it is attainable, but it's not unattainable this week. It's not attainable this week or this month. It's something that I have to go slowly and work my way towards. So I contacted my brother. Hey Peter, good to see you. Hi Norm. Hi Linda. My my high school friend who we just contacted last night on Facebook. Amazing. Yeah, we had a lot of goals when we were younger too. Our goals change over time. The definition of a goal, something that you attain, means that it's going to have an end. You're going to get that goal, and then you're going to necessarily start another goal. So I went to high school. I finished that. I went to college. That was my goal. I accomplished that goal. I went to law school. I accomplished that goal. And did I do it in 1 year? No, that took 7 years of school after high school to become an attorney. And then I had to take the bar exam. So your goals will change as you go along. As you attain your next goal, you're going to have a new goal that's going to get you closer to whatever it is that you're trying to do. In my case, dog park. And I know that I need to be at my desk. The one thing that they define is, what is the one thing that I can do right now that will make other things unnecessary or easier? The one thing for me is to be at my desk, what I'm doing right now, going on Facebook, writing. I'm writing a seminar on how to be happy, the Happy Lawyer Seminar, Happy Lawyer Fact or Fiction. And is it going to be ready in a week? No. Is it going to be ready in a month? Probably not, but I'm putting a deadline on it so that I have it ready by Memorial Day, 3 months. This is another important thing about goal setting and goal attaining. You have to have a deadline. If you say I'm going to do something and you don't have a deadline on it, it's easy to get distracted and not finish your goal. So, sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm getting distracted by compliments on this live Facebook thing. This is the first time I'm ever doing anything like this with interaction. So, coast with me because it's kind of an experiment. You guys are a little bit like guinea pigs for me to see how this is going to work and how much fun it is, because it really is kind of fun. So for me, I like helping people, and I want to help people to figure out how to get from here to there. And there's lots of stuff online. There's like oodles amount of stuff online about how to attain goals. There's a guy named Jim Rohn, Jimrohn, Jim Rohn. And he's long gone. He passed away a long time ago. But he has a lot of really interesting videos on goal setting and goal attaining. And he talks about a lot of these things too. How to differentiate between short-term goals and long-term goals, how to take the steps that are needed to get to your goal, and how to not have your goal be so big that it is, overwhelming and scary. I have an analogy that I like to think about, the acorn and the oak tree. When we think about our dreams and goals, sometimes what we see is a big giant oak tree. And we forget, we look at that big oak tree and say, whoa, I can't do that. I can't be that big oak tree. I can't have a dream that big. But the oak tree always starts out as an acorn. And I very frequently have acorns on my desk and all around me. I keep acorns in my car. I keep acorns. There was an acorn that was right here. I've been so good. My goal was to clean up my desk, and I cleaned it up so well that I don't know where my acorn is. But trust me, there's an acorn around here somewhere. Here it is. It's right here. The cap of the acorn. So the giant oak tree starts out as a little acorn. And when it's in the ground, it can't even see its goal. It's underneath. It's dug in. It's covered with dirt. And that little acorn cannot see its goal, but it knows that eventually, slowly, it's going to stick up out of the ground as a small twig and then eventually grow into the giant oak tree. So no oak tree starts out thinking, I'm going to be a giant oak tree. All oak trees start out as a little acorn and slowly work their way towards the oak tree level. So there are different ways to reach your goal. A lot of people have different ideas. Some people make lists. Is there anybody here that makes lists of goals? Like today I want to get this done, get that done, get this done. I'm not great at making lists. I try. But sometimes it seems like I get distracted on one thing and I go off to another item, and then my list goes out the window. But the thing about doing lists that is really helpful is that you get to cross things off your list. If you do something like clean your closet. Now, see, the thing about cleaning your closet, which it took me a really long time to clean my closet, because I really had no need to clean the closet. It was like something in my brain that I just thought, oh yeah, I want to clean my closet because then I'll have more room for other clothes or something. So I had my end goal was really to have more room for clothes. But the way to get there was to clean the closet. And that wasn't fun. Cleaning the closet. Nobody likes to clean their closet. I don't care who you are. Nobody likes to clean the closet. I see Linda is talking. She likes to make monthly goals and take baby steps. That's a great way to do stuff. And even if you start with daily goals and weekly goals, you string them all together and you get to monthly goals. You can have monthly goals going on at the same time as your daily goals. Everything we're doing in the course of a day is going to be a goal. Just getting to bed, at 10 o'clock tonight, that's a goal for me. I have a goal every morning that I try to be early for work. And despite my waking up 3 hours before I have to leave for work, I always tend to be 10 minutes late. And I'm trying to figure out, how do I get to that goal? How do I get to the get to work early goal, which is a daily goal that would seem, some people have no trouble at all. Some people would not even think twice. They'd just be like, well, I'll just leave the house at 8 o'clock. That's all. But there are some people that, like me, have a daily goal, and no matter what you do, you keep trying for it, and it almost seems unattainable. My goal of getting to work early almost seems unattainable to me because I can't get it done. But if I put my mind to it, I know I could. So I look at the things that are getting in the way of my goal, and what's in the way of me getting out of the house earlier, and what can I do to fix those things that are going to get in my way. I have this thing in my head that you can't leave the house with dishes in the sink. And very frequently I'll find myself cleaning the sink in the morning instead of leaving the house and going to work. And I commented to somebody about that that I need to clean my sink before I leave in the morning. It makes me late, and it's like something I can't get out of my head. And you know what he said? Clean the sink at night before you go to bed. And I thought, oh, that's such a good idea. I mean, really, I'm talking about maybe 5 minutes or 7 minutes to do something. And I realized that if that was something that was in my way, I needed to address it. And so now I clean my sink at night. And it's one less thing that I have to do in the morning. And I'm one step closer to achieving my daily goal of being to work on time. Then the other thing is taking your clothes out at night, knowing what you're going to wear the next day. I'm bad at last minute, changing my mind on what I'm going to wear. And it's not like I have a ton of choices, I don't have like an unending wardrobe, but in my mind, I don't want to take the effort the day before to figure it out. But by doing that, Peter's suggesting me getting paper plates so I don't have to clean the sink. That's a good idea, Peter. Hi, Brian. Good to see you. Oh, see, I clean as Kathy, my cousin Kathy. She cleans her sink before she goes to bed. I am starting to do that. That's becoming habit for me. Now, this is another interesting concept. I'm bouncing a little bit, but it does have to do with goals. And it's the term discipline. A lot of people say, oh, you have to be so disciplined all the time. And you have to discipline yourself to follow through with your actions so that you can reach your goals. And that is true. But discipline doesn't have to be something to be disciplined all the time. Like, that doesn't sound like fun at all. It sounds like, being at school all the time, discipline all the time. The book that I was referring to, The One Thing, talks about discipline and says you have to be disciplined at the right time. So if I was disciplined at the right time to just, before I go to bed, take 5 minutes or 7 minutes and clean up my sink, you know what? I actually sleep better because it's done. It's one less thing on my mind. And the thing about doing that as a discipline, cleaning my sink every night, if you do something long enough as a discipline, it becomes a habit. And then once it becomes a habit, you don't need the discipline to do it. So if you apply the discipline over and over until something becomes a habit, then you don't need to use discipline anymore. You can take that discipline and apply it to something else. So I see Norman is putting in his 7 P's for prior planning and preparation prevents piss poor performance. This is true. This is 7 P's. I also know another phrase that says those who fail to plan to fail. So I am trying to take care of things the night before so that in the morning I'll have fewer things to do. Now, I have a big morning, and I am trying to discipline myself in the morning so that these acts become a habit. Now, the morning discipline that I go through is I wake up at about 5:30. No matter what time I go to bed, I wake up at 5:30 in the morning. And I want to do some meditation for about half an hour. And then I want to do maybe a little stretching, a little exercise for about 15-20 minutes. And then I like to walk on the beach. I'm 5 minutes from the boardwalk. And if anybody is watching me in the morning, they know that I'm trying to go live from the boardwalk and the beach in the morning. And it's just amazing. Live from the Long Beach in the morning is terrific. So if I do that routinely, if I wake up and I discipline myself to meditate for a half an hour till 6 o'clock, do stretching and exercise till 6:30, and take a walk from 6:30 to 7, if I continue that discipline over and over, and Linda is saying 21 days for a habit, I've heard that there's an average. Some things are quicker, some things are longer. If I could do it 21 days in a row, I'd be happy. It's a little freezing right now, so it's a little hard for me to sometimes get out of the house. But once I start doing that and I discipline myself to get up and do that every morning, then it will become a habit, and I'll no longer need the discipline. Because you don't need discipline to do habits. I have a friend who gets up every morning and goes swimming. He swims at the public pool in Nassau, Brian Smith. And he doesn't even think twice about it. He just gets up and he goes swimming. Now, could I go swimming every morning? Right now, I think like that's an unattainable goal. The idea of going swimming every morning is unattainable for me. But of course, it is attainable if I apply discipline for the time that I needed, which is in the morning. There's a local pool right over here in Long Beach. I could just drive over there. It'll take me less than 5 minutes, and I could swim every morning from 6:30 to 7 o'clock. And if I disciplined myself every day to do that, then it would no longer be discipline. It would become habit. And my goal of doing that every day will be, I would be successful at that. Just like Brian doesn't think twice. He just gets up and goes. People say to me, how do you get to the beach every morning? I just say, I just walk out of the house. Am I doing it every day? No. Am I going to try to? Yes. So even if I skip some days, I'm still trying to discipline myself so that it becomes habit and routine. I have another friend named Wendy. She wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning and she exercises. She's just very into it, and she looks terrific. So her discipline was every morning she disciplines herself to wake up and exercise for however many hours she wants to exercise for, and then she trains some people with boxing, and now her discipline has turned into a habit. So she doesn't have to use discipline anymore. It's now a habit. So one of the ways to getting to your goal is to use the discipline at the right time so that your actions become a habit. A lot of people have a goal to lose weight. Okay, I've had this goal my whole life. I'm still, about 10 pounds over. So the thing is, you have to pay attention to the actions that you're taking. With regard to losing weight, obviously, you have complete control over whatever goes in your mouth. I have a sweet tooth. I like to eat chocolate. So I allow myself a little bit of dark chocolate. But the bigger change that I had to discipline myself to do was to make sure when I go shopping that I'm buying the right food. So instead of buying potato chips, I'm buying carrots. Instead of buying salami, I'm buying tuna fish. And when I'm disciplining myself to do that, now I don't even think twice. I wouldn't even go down the potato chip aisle. I don't even go to the deli counter, because I know already I've disciplined myself to not buy that stuff, and I just go down the aisles where the food that I know is going to be more healthy for me. When you're shopping, if you're going down the aisles, you're pretty much looking at preservative and canned foods and boxed foods. All the fresh food is around the outside of the store. So shop around the outside of the store. All the stuff in the middle is preservatives and not good for you. Shop around the outside and And that's where you're going to find your fresh foods, your organic foods, and stuff like that. You see, my cousin Kathy is coming on again, and she's saying that after she had a bout with cancer, she had to gain weight. So there's a goal that is even more, at that point in her life, very important for her to be paying attention and disciplining herself, I'm sure, to eat much more nutritious items, and until that became a habit. So your disciplines will become habits, and then when you are in a habit of doing something, you'll attain the goal that you want to meet. And once you attain that goal, then there's going to be another goal after that. So after I attain my goal of waking up every morning and walking on the beach, I still have to come home and attain my goal of getting out of the house to get on time for work. Now, sometimes those two don't go together, but my goal and my habit of getting up and walking on the beach is so strong. As the weather gets warmer, I know I'll be out earlier and earlier because the sun comes up earlier, and that'll give me more time. And if I use discipline and become habitually used to getting stuff ready the night before, then I will be able to have more time in the morning for what I really want to do, which is the walking and the stretching and whatever else, to make my morning really feel very accomplished. When I'm walking on the beach, when I take pictures of the sun, when I'm going live on Facebook for from the beach, it's feel very accomplished, reaching out to people and connecting at that point. So that is a big goal that I'm accomplishing every morning as a daily goal. So those are the daily goals. The daily goals will go more quickly if you use the discipline at the right time and change your acts into habits, and then your habitual behavior will get you to the end of your goal. So as I was talking a little bit before about the unattainable goals, a lot of times the longer term goals seem more unattainable to us. People think I'll never be able to buy a house. I'll never be able to retire. I'll never be able to, whatever it is that you want to do. My goal is, here I have it written down now. This is to remind me, desk equals dogs. Desk equals dogs. I have it written all over my house to remind me that the one thing I have to do is go to my desk. And from my desk, everything that I need, everything that I can produce to get me to my dog sanctuary park is going to come from my desk. So I have to remind myself all the time for my long-term goal to keep going to my desk. And when I do the short-term goals at the desk, eventually it will lead to the long-term goal. But the problem again with the long-term goal is that unattainable. Is my idea of having dog sanctuaries all over the country and all over the world unattainable? No, of course not. It's not unattainable. It's attainable, but it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take a lot of persistence. And those are the type of things that people want to give up on quickly. When we don't see our long-term goals happening quickly, it's easy to give up on them and veer away. But because they are long-term goals, you have to just give yourself credit for all the short-term goals that you're doing in between. So what am I doing in between? I hooked up with a dog rescue group in Long Beach. I can't believe I don't remember the name of it right now. Rough Dog Rescue Northeast. They're based out of Pennsylvania, but they have a branch up here in Long Beach. So I started to go to dog training with my friend Miriam out in Kennedy Plaza every Sunday between 10 a.m. and noon. They go. So I'm making it a discipline to go there every Sunday. So now that I'm disciplining myself to go every Sunday, it's almost like a habit now. It's a habit. I get up, I know I finish what I'm doing in the morning on Sunday, and then I go to the dog training. And that's where I met the people that were doing the rescue. So I started hooking up with one dog, a dog named Blue, that I was walking for a while. And he was a rescue from a kill shelter in Georgia. And he was adorable and handsome, and everybody loved him. And he ultimately got adopted out to a family that had another dog, and it was very nice. And I have to tell you, for me, it was very difficult to see him go. I never expected that actually attaining that goal of getting the dog adopted would be difficult. All of the goals I've ever attained in my life were joyous and happy, and and a progression forward. But that particular goal, to help a dog become adopted and then see him become adopted and go live with another family, was more difficult than I expected. But it was the end that we wanted, and I said to my friend, "How do you do it? How do you deal with the dogs?" And she said, "You just focus on the one that's in front of you, and then you move on to the next one. You get that one adopted, then you move on to the next one." So I have been working slowly but surely to get involved with the dogs, to get involved with the dog rescue group. And, yes, people love to rescue dogs. It's really important, especially older dogs. If you're interested in any dog, older dog, younger dog, get in touch with me, because they work with a lot of different dogs and a lot of different places for where dogs need to be rescued. And what can I say? It just touches me in the heart that I need to help these dogs. So will I someday have my own dog rescue and dog sanctuary? Absolutely. There's no question in my mind. I don't care if it takes 10 years. I don't care if it takes 20 years. It's going to happen. And my brother James is going to help me. I've discussed him with him being part of it and living at the premises. I discuss it with some other people that I'm close to, because I will need people to help me do it. And what did my brother James do? He went and started looking up all the rules and regulations for how to have a dog park in Florida. And it was very interesting. That I just said it to one person. He didn't even know it was my long-term goal, and he had ideas of his own about how to do it. And now we have a little mastermind group between the two of us on the rules and regulations that we have to abide by in Florida to own something where you'll have a lot of dogs and still be in code and all of that. And then of course there's a lot of other things that you have to deal with wherever you're going to be. Florida has hurricanes. You have to protect the dogs from that. So it's a big endeavor. But just because it's so big, and just because it's going to take a lot of steps and a lot of people and probably a decent amount of money, it doesn't mean that it's not a worthy goal to continue to go after. So I'm continuing after this goal, and I feel 100% sure that I'm going to make it. The question is, how am I going to make it? So I have to think about the smaller goals that are going to get me from here to there to get to the point where I have that big goal. And guess what? Once I have the dog sanctuaries, that goal is going to be achieved, and then I'm going to have another goal. There's going to be another goal after that. Of course, there's cat sanctuaries. And then who knows what else. I could end up running my own zoo. There are goals that I haven't even thought of yet, because right now I'm dealing with this particular goal that's a big goal. But once I get that done, I'll be moving on to another goal. My goal here of speaking online. Oh, I'm 33 minutes in already. I honestly don't even know what I said, because I didn't really rehearse it. I just kind of wanted a goal where I got online, where I started doing something every Sunday night at 8 o'clock, have a different topic, have people come in and chat with me. Next week it'll be, I don't know, maybe a real camera and a real microphone. We'll see what happens between now and then. But I didn't want all of that to stop me from having my goal of going live. I just wanted to give it a try, see how it worked out. And it was a really short-term goal, one that I decided in a day. And now it's going to be, from now till next Sunday, I'll have a week-long goal. I won't be thinking about it all the time. But, if anybody has any suggestions about the type of topics that they want to discuss, I'm a little, all over the place right now with the goal setting and the goal attaining. But my point here was, if you think a goal is unattainable, either change your goal or change your definition of unattainable. It's not unattainable to lose 20 pounds. It's not unattainable to quit smoking. It's not unattainable to wake up every morning and walk for a half an hour. It's not unattainable to have dog sanctuary parks all over the country. It just takes devotion and time And you have to be willing to do the work. Nothing is really going to come. If I win lotto, I'll have dog sanctuary parks the next day. But if I don't, then I'm sorry, it's distracting. These Norman Chan is very funny. He says it's better than watching Frasier reruns on Sunday nights. I'm better than Frasier reruns, although I do like Frasier. He's very funny. But hey, what the heck, I figure, what have I got to lose? Go on live Facebook. A lot of people are doing it, so I decided to do it. My little topic tonight was goals. Don't think that you can't do it. If you're dedicated to something and you think that you want it and you're willing to put the work in, just take the discipline at the right time and apply it. And then as you keep applying that discipline, it will become a habit. And once something is a habit, you'll reach that goal, and then you move on to the next goal. Apply the discipline again until your actions become habit. Think about all the habits you have now. Waking up in the morning, and I wake up in the morning and I grind coffee and I boil water and I have a coffee press and I make the whole thing. I don't even think about it, but it is in fact my goal for the morning, a small goal to make a cup of coffee. But I do it so routinely, I don't think of it as like, oh, my goal is to make a cup of coffee. I get up because I've disciplined myself to grind the beans, put them in the pot, boil the water, make the coffee press, set it for 4 minutes. I go do something else for 4 minutes. I hear the bell go off. I come back and I've reached my goal of making a cup of coffee. Because it's habit, it's simple. So if you take your goals, apply the discipline, make those actions a habit, you'll attain that goal simply. It won't be difficult anymore. And you'll move on to the next goal, whatever that is. And if you keep applying this over and over, this method of discipline and habit, the things that seem unattainable will get closer and closer. If you're trying to lose weight, make sure you're putting the right stuff in your refrigerator. The only stuff that can come out of your refrigerator for you to eat is the stuff that you put in your refrigerator. And it seems like a simple concept. It took me a long time to realize that. If I bought ice cream, I was going to eat it. If I bought cookies, I was going to eat those. And I couldn't lose weight if I was constantly buying all of this food, and that was what I was available to pull out of my refrigerator. So now I just went shopping tonight. I bought a bunch of organic vegetables and fruits and stuff. And so that's what I'm going to be able to pull out. And I don't even think about it anymore because I've disciplined myself to make that a habit. So those are the habits that will get you to your goal. Oh, I don't know if, does anybody have any comments on their ideas of how they get to their small goals, their 1-day goals or their 1-week goals? Anybody making lists out there? They're crossing off the list. The thing about the list that's good is when you cross something off the list, you feel successful. And that inspires you to go on to your next goal. I mean, there's nothing that feels better than attaining a goal. I have a new thing that I'm doing now, and it is, I found these stars that I had on my desk forever. And I'm giving myself a star for every time I do something I want to do. Clean my desk. I cleaned my desk. It was a mess, and I needed to really shift. So I gave myself a blue star for cleaning my desk. And guess what? That's just the first one. I just started this new discipline to give myself a star. And when I move on to the next thing that I do, maybe I'll write something, write part of the seminar, then I'll get a star for that. So whatever it is that inspires you to get to the next level, if it's a list that you cross off, if it's hours of time that you put towards something. That's another important thing, is that you have to dedicate time to your goal. If you were, making chicken soup from scratch, It's not something that's going to happen in 15 minutes, like opening a can of soup and putting it on the pot to boil and heat up. If you're making it from scratch, you're going to make the broth, and you're going to cook whatever vegetables, and it's going to take a couple of hours maybe for that soup to be done. So you need to dedicate the right amount of time that your goal needs, and then follow through at that time. And if it means you have to block out other distractions, this is another important thing about dedicating time to your goal. If you are distracted, you may have seen my cats walking back and forth here. They're a big distraction to me, but I let them run around the house. So what am I going to do? But they'll walk across my desk. They'll step on my keyboard while I'm trying to work, and then, I have to throw them out of the room. I probably should lock the door. But there are other things. If you know that you need to work at your desk for a while, or you're going to be out in the yard doing something in the garden for a while, bring water with you, bring a snack with you, bring a banana or an apple, so you don't have to stop what you're doing and go into the kitchen to get something to eat or drink. Because once you distract yourself from the steps that you're taking, it's easier to just start doing something else. I mean, I know that we're all think that we can multitask, but multitasking is really not something that is an efficient use of your brain. What you're really doing is starting one thing and stopping one thing and starting another. Anytime you're multitasking, you're really stopping the flow of one energy and you're starting the flow of something else. In this live thing right now, I've bounced from topics back and forth, descriptions, because I'm not having a flow. I'm multitasking in my brain, and as a result, it's a little unrehearsed thing that's just coming off the top of my head. But I'm stopping the thoughts that are coming through, and I'm starting new thoughts that are coming through. So it's not always easy to restart. That's why if you're going to focus on something, you need to dedicate a block of time, 2 to 4 hours, I would say. Block out distractions and sit where you are, or go where you're going, so that you can get that done without interruption. So Miriam is saying that the biggest issue she has is getting started. Once she starts, she's off, but getting started is difficult. I find making plans to start with something helps to jump in, and then she's good. But the bottom line is having a buddy system. That's very good. A buddy system is very good. I can tell you right now, I text Miriam on Sundays and I say, "Are you going to dog training?" And she says, "Yes." And it gets me up and I make sure to go. Would I go anyway? Probably. I've gone when she hasn't gone. But having a buddy system is a great idea to help you. Even if it's something like food shopping, or if it's something like exercising, or even if it's having your desk cleaned because you have somebody that's coming over that's going to say, "Hey, did you clean your desk this week?" So an accountability partner, somebody like that. But getting started is the most difficult thing. When I decided at like 10 o'clock this morning that I was going to go live at 8 o'clock, I was nervous. I was scared. I didn't commit until midday. I thought of a million things to not do it. But then once I said, I'm going to be live at 8 o'clock, I knew. I was like, well, you're kind of stuck now, because you can't not go. You can't announce that you're going to go and then not go. So even if you blow it, even if it's a mess, who cares? At least I'm starting. And it can only get better from here. And you guys will be like the original witnesses of the archives, the Diana the Happy Lawyer archives, starting right now. So I would like to think that I have whatever information that I can share to help people look at their goals differently. Don't count themselves out. Don't count yourself out. An unattainable goal, unless it's something that's really out of this world. And when I talk about out of this world, I mean, when you're a kid, kids don't think there's anything that's not attainable. If they want to fly to the moon, or, be a fireman, Or I met a kid the other day. He said he wanted to be a chef, a 4-year-old kid. We said, what do you want to do when you grow up? He said, I want to be a chef, of all things. We thought it was funny that he would pick that, chef. In his mind, that's completely attainable. He has no doubt in his mind that he's going to be a chef. Or that kid that wants to be an astronaut. I could be an astronaut right now. I could start to go training and become an astronaut if I wanted to. It's not unattainable. And as kids, we think that anything is attainable. Kids think they can do anything until somebody tells them that they can't do it. And that's when the negativity starts to sink in. That's when something that you might think is attainable might become unattainable because somebody said to you that you can't do it. I'm very lucky. I had parents that told me I could do anything I wanted. So I do. I do whatever I want, and I'm very self-indulgent. And, do I get all my goals done? No, but I'm working on that. There are kids, though, that their parents said, how are you going to do that? You don't have enough money to do that. You don't have enough brains to do that. You don't have enough education to do that. And then kids start to automatically think, oh, maybe I can't do that. Maybe that is unattainable. They don't even realize, they may not know what unattainable is, but by somebody else telling them that they can't do it, they think in their minds that they can't. So, again, you have to change your definition of what unattainable is. And if it's unattainable because somebody else told you can't do it, that's not unattainable. If you think you can do it, even if it takes 1,000 steps, it's something that you can do. People will very frequently tell you that something is unattainable because it's unattainable for them. They can't do it. I go to Mardi Gras every year, many of you know, and there are people that I know that they're like, oh, I want to go to Mardi Gras, but I'll never go. Well, if you think you'll never go, then you never will go. But it's not an unattainable goal. It's something very simple. But there are people that think it is unattainable. Excuse me. But there are people that climb Mount Everest that thought that was an attainable goal, and it was for them. And there are people that think, I'll never be able to climb. I mean, I don't plan on climbing Mount Everest. Could I do it? Yeah. Do I want to? No, it's not something that's important to me. I don't need to climb Mount Everest. I don't need to jump out of a plane. I don't need to be an astronaut. I don't need to, go up in the Virgin Mega Galactic thing and look at the Earth. Are those things that are all attainable for me? Yes, I could do any of those things, but they're not anything I want to do. So they're not goals that I need to put on my list. I'm focusing on the things that I want to do, what you desire to do, your desired goals, how you see your life. That's why little kids are amazing, because how they see their lives are so simply affected by something they may have seen on television or heard at school, where this kid found out that he wanted to be a chef. There was some chef that he knew from a restaurant that they went to, and maybe he had a really good meal there, and that the guy was the friend of theirs, and he came over and said, oh, I'm the chef in the restaurant. For all I know, it was, spaghetti and meatballs. But the kid just thought, wow, this is an amazing meal, and this guy's the chef, so I want to be a chef. And he got it in his head, and it could affect him for the rest of his life, and maybe he will become a chef. Unless somebody says to him, no, you can't do that. You don't have the ability to do that. You have to go to school for that. You have to do this for that. Some people have natural skills. They don't go to school for stuff. Some people are natural painters. Some people are natural dancers. Some people are natural singers. I'm not really any of those. I paint, when I was a kid, when I was 5 years old, I painted a picture of Diana and her flowers, and it won a blue ribbon. And I was really proud of it. But I didn't really continue painting for a long time. And then I did go back to painting because it was something that I always loved to do. And I found some time, and I thought, you know what, I want to paint. I was painting when I was a kid, and I want to go back to it. So I did start painting again. It still looks like painting by a 5-year-old, but at least I'm painting again. So that's something that I added to my life. The thing that I'm focusing the most now on is really trying to help people to live a happier life. That's the whole purpose of starting this video, It's the whole purpose of Diana the Happy Lawyer, which is developing. It seemed like an easy goal that I was going to be able to accomplish right away, but then it turned out to be a little more involved. So I'm giving it the time that it needs. Earl Nightingale, who's somebody that I listen to a lot, also lots of videos and audios online of Earl Nightingale. He said if something is worthy of doing, give it the time that it needs so that you have a quality product as opposed to just rushing something out just to get a quantity product, just to get something out. Just give it the time that it needs. So I'm giving this time, and I'm learning about Facebook, and I'm in mastermind groups that are helping me to see what other people are thinking and get other ideas from people. And all of it is one step closer to helping me to discipline myself. This is going to be an interesting thing, my Sunday night at 8 o'clock. So I hope you tune in next week, and whatever Sunday nights after that. Pretty soon I'm going to be in Mardi Gras, and on Sunday, March 3rd, I will be doing my 8 p.m. from New Orleans Mardi Gras, so that should be a kick. Don't know exactly what I'll be talking about, but it should be fun. And I hope that you guys tune back. Tell me what you think. I'm watching the numbers. It's like 10, 11 people. I'm kind of more than I expected to still be on, and I don't really know how to end because I would just imagine people would fall off till I had no people, but I guess that's not how it goes. And more people are coming on. Hi Gary. Hi Matt. Gary and Matt, if you're just coming on, I'm talking about goals and the definition of goals and attaining the unattainable, and that if you have a goal that you think is unattainable, then you either have to change your goal or you have to change your definition of unattainable, and realize that just about everything in life is attainable if you use discipline at the right time to use your actions, and then your actions will become habits, and then once you're in a habitual mode, then your goal attaining will become easier. So that was the little lesson of the night, I think. And does anybody else have any questions? Gary, am I putting you to sleep? I don't know what that means. 12 now, Gary. Linda's saying that I should have a YouTube channel. I actually have a YouTube channel, but I've never recorded anything and put anything on it because I was afraid. Because I was afraid I didn't know what I was going to have to say, which I'd be thinking of. This is why the whole point of getting at my desk is going to help me, because I am a good writer. And being an attorney my whole life has helped me to be a good presenter, I think. But that was always very rehearsed, and also always telling somebody else's story. Somebody pointed out to me that it's easy when you're an attorney, you're telling somebody else's story. You're literally like a mouthpiece for them. But this is like me. I'm telling my own story. So it's a little strange, because I used to sum up to juries and lay out the evidence, and it was always somebody else's car accident, thank God, or whatever, trip and fall. And this is something different. This is just something that I'm doing for me to help people that were interested, just people that might be interested in talking about what their goals are, what their desires are, how they achieve their goals. So let's do this. Let's end with like this. If you have ideas on how to achieve goals and how you achieve your goals, whether they're short-term goals that you're just going to get up in the morning and make a cup of coffee, or you're going to decide at 10 o'clock in the morning that you're going live at Facebook at 8 o'clock, or if it's something you want to do by the end of the week, or the end of the month, or the end of the year, or the end of 5 years, shoot me a Facebook whatever line that tells me how you deal with attaining those goals, what tricks you might know of, what habits you might have. And next week, I can start off in the first few minutes by talking about, what people said about the last week's goal attaining thing. So, Norm is saying that when you're tired and overwhelmed, you do the things that bring you joy for fundamental reasons. And that can be incentive enough if you don't have the energy or feel burdened. That's kind of true. It is true that when you're, Norm, actually, when you're doing something that you really love, you'll still do it even if you're exhausted. I thought of something recently. What was I doing? I had to get up early in the morning at like 4 o'clock in the morning for something. And I was exhausted and I didn't want to get up because it was something I didn't want to do. But if I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning because I was going to the airport to take a plane to Italy, well, I tell you, I would be pretty peppy at 4 a.m. if I knew that cab was coming to pick me up and I was going to be flying over to, to spend a week in Italy. So it's your goals will drive you. If it's something that you're excited about, even if you're tired and overwhelmed, you'll still try and get it done. If you're tired and overwhelmed and it's a crappy goal like doing laundry or cleaning the sink, you might say, oh, I can't do it, And there are going to be goals like that. There are going to be goals that are crappy goals that you have to do. Do the laundry, get the garbage out, and do food shopping, anything like that. If those goals are standing in your way, there are ways to deal with that. They have, Stop and Shop Peapod that does shopping for you and it drops it off. You could drop your laundry off at a laundromat that does it for you. So if those things are standing in your way, or if you go to the laundromat, everybody has their phone, you could take your phone with you and you could listen to YouTube. You could listen to inspirational speakers while you're waiting for your laundry. You could read a book that's motivational. Don't, stay away from anything that's going to just block your mind from your goal. I see people reading books still about World War II and the Vietnam War, and I just think, why? It's old news. It's over. It doesn't even have anything to do with anything going on. They want to find out stories. People are writing stories about it. People are selling stories about it, but it's not going to advance your goal. If you're reading about, the Vietnam War, unless you're a war strategist, it's not something that's going to advance your goal. So if you have to do tasks that are boring, like laundry or something like that, walking the dog even, listen to a video, listen to an audio, bring a book with you, and then at least you might be able to do a little bit of advancing your goal during that time. Sometimes, my friend John Presnick once told me that when you have to wait, when you're forced to wait for something, I have a lot of times when I'm forced to wait for stuff at work, in court, waiting for a judge to conference a case, and I might be sitting there for hours. He said, if you're forced to sit there and wait, use that time. So, I've been using it to, I haven't been writing, but I could write something in 5 minutes, though, off the top of my head. I could comb ideas from my brain. I could go on and read. I see people a lot that are reading books in court while they're waiting, or on their laptop doing work that they should be doing from, instead of waiting to get to their desks, they're doing work while they're in court waiting for other stuff. So even if you're doing a task that is not exciting, hey Steve, how you doing? Even if you're doing a task that's not exciting, if you can combine it with something else that might advance your goal, then do that too. It's hard to sit and do one thing at a time. Even, while I'm doing this, I'm trying to read all of these comments and and interact. And, it's a new thing for me. It's fun. I'm having a lot of fun. I have off tomorrow, so I don't have to worry about going to work or anything. So I can just sit here and chat with people. And once I get this hooked up properly on my computer, I'll be able to type back, I guess, and all kinds of things. But I'm just learning the media now. So this was a goal that I set for myself that I feel pretty good. I feel that I've attained my, coming up on 1 hour of a live stream. I'm afraid right now that when I go watch it back that I'm going to be like horrified. How many times I say so, or how many times I say but I listen to a guy named Les Brown, and he's great. One of my favorites. If you ever have a chance to listen to Les Brown, you should. And he has a phrase that says, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. So I'm getting started. And I have no doubt in my mind that I'm not going to be great, because it's just the way I feel. And I know that what I'm doing is for a great cause, to, connect with people and help people to live a happier life. Because happiness is, a choice. If you wake up in the morning and you decide you're going to be happy in the morning, it's going to last all day. Don't wait until, all right, after at lunchtime, after I get done with my morning, then I'll be happy. Or I'll be happy when I'm driving on my way home for work. Or I'll be happy after I've had my dinner and I'm sitting on the couch watching some, thing on television. You'll never get to be happy later in the day. You just have to be happy when you wake up in the morning. Just decide, this is going to be a happy day. I'm going to have a great day today. Something great's going to happen to me today. I always say that in the morning. Something great is going to happen to me today. And without failure, something great does happen. It may be that at the deli they have my favorite lunch, so that's great. It may be, getting an easy parking spot. It may, keep your expectations low. Don't think something great's going to happen to me, and if you don't win lotto that day, then nothing great happened. Because really, there's so much great stuff that happens in a day. If you start to appreciate all the little things that happen that are great, then you'll feel great about the day. And if something comes along that's not so great, it'll be outweighed by all the things that were great. Even just talking to people, just making someone laugh, or if you see somebody that you sometimes I'll see people I don't even know. I saw a woman in the courthouse a couple of weeks ago, and she really looked good. She was rocking it. And I commented to her. I said, wow, you look really great today. And she happened to be on trial. It was her own case, and she was a nervous wreck. And she was like, are you kidding me? I'm a wreck. And I said, no, you don't look like a wreck. I said, you look really great. And she just really needed to hear that. I never saw her before, and I didn't see her again. She went up to her case, and, maybe if she was nervous and she was, hanging by the skin of her teeth because, a case that she's been waiting for is finally on trial, and she's very anxious about it. Maybe a little comment from me that she looked great might have been enough to just offset the something that was anxiety or something bad going on in her life, just by something that somebody said, and thought, hey, yeah, that was a great thing. Somebody said I look great. It was worth it to put the extra, spray in my hair or put on lipstick or whatever, the effort that she took, that somebody acknowledged it and recognized it. For her, that was a great thing to happen in her day. And for me, it was great. I love saying things to people and complimenting them and boosting them up for no reason. So it's always great for me to do that. But to know that I could add to somebody else's day and make them feel great, even just for a few minutes, or send them off on a, feel-good feeling. People that tell me they love my sunrises in the morning, well, that makes me happier than that. I'm here seeing it live, so it is truly amazing live. If I can just bring a little bit of that to people in the morning, then it starts their day off on a happier note. It makes me feel good. So that's a great thing for me to happen to me. And if I could share it with everybody, then that'll be even greater. And gratitude is one of the greatest feelings. Helping people is, I just heard Denzel Washington the other day, right, Annette? He said, the most selfish thing you can do in this world is to help someone else. And why is that selfish? Because the feeling that you get inside you from helping someone, that feeling of joy, that feeling of happiness and gratitude that you helped somebody else and did something nice for them, that's really the most selfish thing that you can do. And we like to use words that, combine together. And I always think of the word gratitude. It seems to me to be grateful and attitude put together. When you have a grateful attitude, then you have gratitude. And gratitude is one of the biggest vibrational waves into the universe that will return. If you're grateful for stuff and you're happy for stuff, the universe just gives you back more stuff to be grateful for, more stuff to be happy for. And so gratitude is something that you really should practice every day. Just be grateful. People tell me how I'm so stressed out when I wake up in the morning. I think, oh, it's going to be a horrible day, or traffic's going to be lousy. And, if you wake up thinking traffic's going to be lousy, there's a very small chance that it's not going to be lousy. If you expect it to be lousy, it will be lousy. I wake up every morning and I go, I don't care. Traffic doesn't care, so I don't care about traffic. If it gets in my way, I just wait and it goes away. Sooner or later, it disappears, the traffic. Sooner or later, I'm the first one in line, or sooner or later, I'm parking my car and it's like the traffic was behind me. It never happened. But I tell people to wake up in the morning and just say thank you. And I tell them, say thank you 3 times. Thank you, thank you, thank you. By the time you get to the 3rd thank you, you actually feel grateful for something. You don't even have to think like, I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for my health. I thank you for being able to get out of bed. All of those things are true. But if you don't even want to list those, just say thank you, thank you, thank you when you get up. And I'm saying thank you right now to my cousin Kathy. She says I have so much of my dad's personality in me. I tell you, what a riot. That guy was so funny, Charlie G. and Turco. He would have you cracking up all the time. And to think that I have a little bit of him coming through me right now, it gives me I feel so empowered by that. I really do, because my parents were, terrific. They never told me there wasn't anything I could not do. When I was a kid, I said, I wanted to fly to the moon. We watched the astronauts land on the moon in 1969, and I said, I want to go to the moon. And my dad was like, okay, let's go. And we built a spaceship in my living room out of cardboard. So that was a lot of fun. And it was because of that kind of attitude. He didn't say, oh, what do you mean? You can't go to the moon. He was like, okay, let's go. Let's go to the moon. And what did I know? I was 6 years old. I was like, okay, let's go. Let's go to the moon. Let's build a spaceship. We're going. And that's how I was fortunate enough to grow up with parents that just said I could do anything I want. And based on that, there's nothing in the world that I believe that I cannot do. So if you weren't fortunate enough to have that growing up, you have to teach it to yourself now. You have to say, no matter what anybody else said about me, I can do anything that I want. There's a psychologist, sociologist, his name was Abraham Maslow, and he has one of my favorite sayings, and it is, I will not be affected by the good opinions of other people. So the good opinions of other people, what does that mean? I mean, if you're, if somebody that, you're driving in traffic and somebody honks or flips you the bird or something, you're not going to care about that person's opinion, because the opinion of that person doesn't matter, because that person's a jerk. It's the good opinions of other people that are going to have an effect on you that you have to disregard. And the good opinions of other people are your family, your friends. These are people that you trust, and their good opinions are opinions that they are telling you because they think it's in your best interest. Oh, Diana, don't buy that house. Don't get that car. Don't try and go out on your own in the law practice. People that think that they're helping you by telling you shouldn't try and reach for your goals. Those are the good opinions of other people that you have to disregard, and don't let them affect you, and move on despite what other people tell you that you can or can't do. You just have to say, well, thank you very much for your good opinion, but I am going to disregard it, and I'm going to do what I believe I can do for myself, and just keep moving forward towards your goals and dreams, and change your definition of unattainable into things that are attainable. And if something really is unattainable, then let it go. Don't follow an unattainable goal or an unattainable dream. But very few things are unattainable. They only seem unattainable because they're so far away, or they're going to take a lot of effort. But if it's something that you really want as a goal, change your definition of it from unattainable to attainable, and then take baby steps, one thing at a time, to move closer and closer, and use discipline to make your steps become routine and habitual, and then you'll be closer to your goals as your habits take you in that direction, and then your discipline will be used as you carry along to reach your final goal. Okay, I am an hour and 10 minutes in. No idea how long I was going to go for, so I'm going to call it. I'm calling it 9:10. I'm calling it 9:10. Let me know what you think. I'm up for constructive criticism. I got some pretty thick skin. I'm not influenced by the good opinions of other people, but I would love to hear them. So let me know if there's any other topics that you'd like me to talk about, or whatever you think. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about next week, but it'll be something. That's for sure. And it'll be 8 o'clock on Sunday night. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of you. I'm going to go stick my head in the sink right now and just kind of let this sink in that I actually did it. I actually thought of doing something today at 10 o'clock this morning. I made a decision that I was going to go live on Facebook tonight, and I did it. Did I do a bunch of preparation? No. I went out to dinner for my birthday, and I went on Facebook Live with about 10 minutes of prep. So, I'm looking forward to doing it again. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm inspired and I'm rejuvenated. I'm so glad I don't have to go to work tomorrow, because I'm all bubbly now. I might be up till who knows what hour of the night. And I'm seeing all kinds of happy faces and smiles and hearts and stuff. And, what can I say? I love you all, and love is all you need. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Bye.